A soft golden sunrise painted the sky over the small rural community of Clearwater, a town teetering between charm and hardship. Jasper Williams, a black farmer known for his kindness, worked his lush farm with care. Jasper had inherited the farm from his late father, a man who taught him that the land's bounty was a gift meant to be shared. With the town's economy struggling, Jasper decided to offer free vegetables to the hungry children in Clearwater. It began with baskets of tomatoes, squash, and collard greens placed outside his modest farmhouse. Word spread quickly. Families in need would stop by, thanking Jasper with tearful gratitude as their children clutched the fresh produce like treasures. Jasper's quiet generosity became a beacon of hope in a town grappling with rising poverty. As you continue to watch, please hit the subscribe button if you have not done so, and turn on the notification bell so that you are the first person to know when a new video drops. Thank you. Jasper Williams was a widower. His wife, Lila, had passed away nearly a decade earlier due to a sudden illness, leaving a void in his life that no amount of work or routine could entirely fill. Lila had been his partner not only in life but also on the farm. Together, they had built the land into a haven, nurturing it with the same care they extended to those around them. Her absence was deeply felt, but Jasper honored her memory by continuing the work they had started together. Jasper and Lila had no children of their own, though they had always dreamed of raising a family. Instead, their farm had become a refuge for local children and neighbors, many of whom looked up to Jasper as a father figure. He had mentored several young people in the community, teaching them the value of hard work, self-reliance, and kindness. For years after Lila's passing, Jasper lived alone on the farm. His days were filled with the rhythm of planting, harvesting, and caring for the land. Despite his solitude, he was never truly lonely. His neighbors frequently stopped by to help with chores or share a meal. He also had a loyal farmhand, Miguel Ramirez, who had worked with Jasper for over 5 years. Miguel was a young man from the community who had faced his own hardships but found stability and purpose working alongside Jasper. Miguel's family often pitched in during busy seasons, especially after the community garden took off. In addition to Miguel, Jasper had an unexpected source of companionship, his animals. His aging dog, Rusty, was a constant presence, trotting beside him as he worked or sitting quietly as Jasper reflected on the day. The chickens, goats, and other livestock added life to the farm, their sounds and movements reminding him of the cycle of life and the joy of nurturing. But as the weeks passed, an unsettling shadow loomed. A cluster of mysterious illnesses struck the community, causing stomach pain, nausea, and fever among several residents. Rumors swirled, and fingers pointed toward Jasper's farm. The whispers grew louder, painting him as a villain rather than the hero he had always been. One morning, Jasper woke to find crude graffiti spray painted across his barn. "Poisoner! That is what you are." Shocked and disheartened, he sought comfort from his closest friend, Clara, a retired schoolteacher who had always admired his efforts. Clara encouraged Jasper to keep faith and suggested they investigate the illnesses themselves. When the mysterious illnesses struck the community, local doctors and medical professionals were initially baffled. The symptoms, stomach pain, nausea, fever, and fatigue, were concerning but not unique to a single ailment. The outbreak seemed to affect individuals across various demographics, including children and the elderly, which intensified the urgency for answers. At first, doctors suspected a viral infection or foodborne illness. They conducted standard tests for common pathogens like norovirus, E. coli, and salmonella. However, the results came back inconclusive, showing no clear indication of a specific bacteria or virus. This lack of clarity left both the medical community and residents deeply unsettled. The local health department intervened, collecting detailed information from those affected. They asked about recent meals, water sources, and any shared events where residents might have been exposed to contaminants. Jasper's free vegetable initiative was mentioned in passing by some residents, as it was a recent addition to their diets. This connection caught the attention of public health officials, who began investigating whether the vegetables could be a source of contamination. Inspectors visited Jasper's farm to collect soil, water, and produce samples for testing. They looked for pesticides, harmful bacteria, and any signs of chemical contamination. But as the community members awaited results, the tension in Clearwater escalated. Parents began forbidding their children from visiting Jasper's farm. One angry mob confronted him in the town square, led by Walter Griggs, a vocal critic who had lost his job at the local factory and saw Jasper's generosity as a ploy to make others look bad. "You have been doing too much, Jasper. Now you are going to face the consequences of your actions," Walter said. Meanwhile, the medical team continued to run tests on patients to identify any toxins or unusual substances in their blood and stool samples. However, the farm tests came back clean, showing no evidence of contamination in the produce or water sources. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, rumors began to circulate. Some individuals, fueled by fear and prejudice, were quick to blame Jasper and his farm. "This stupid black man wants to kill everyone in the community," someone said. These rumors gained traction when an anonymous letter surfaced, accusing Jasper of using questionable farming practices and implying his vegetables were unsafe. The letter, later revealed to have been fabricated by parties with ulterior motives, only deepened suspicions. Meanwhile, a few local doctors, unconvinced by the initial findings, sought second opinions from specialists. They hypothesized that the symptoms could be linked to an environmental factor unrelated to food, such as exposure to contaminated water from other sources or even an airborne irritant. This theory gained traction when a cluster of cases was traced to a different neighborhood far from Jasper's farm, weakening the accusations against him. Ultimately, the lack of definitive medical confirmation left the community in a state of confusion and mistrust. While Jasper's produce was going to be cleared of any direct connection to the illnesses, the absence of an exact cause allowed those with an agenda to manipulate the narrative. It wasn't until further investigation by independent experts revealed the truth: contaminated runoff from an industrial plant several miles away was seeping into local water supplies, that Jasper's name was fully vindicated. The situation worsened when a local news outlet caught wind of the accusations. A reporter arrived, asking Jasper pointed questions and twisting his responses to fit a narrative of suspicion. "Did you knowingly distribute tainted vegetables?" they asked, cameras flashing. Jasper's heart sank as he realized his words were being used against him. Amid the chaos, one family stood by Jasper, the Ramirez family, who had been among the first to benefit from his generosity. Their youngest daughter, Elena, was one of the few who hadn't fallen ill. The Ramirezes offered to help defend Jasper, sharing their story of how his kindness had kept them from going hungry. The health inspector's report finally arrived. It cleared Jasper's crops, showing no signs of contamination. However, the report also revealed that a local water source had been tainted by chemicals dumped upstream by an industrial company. Jasper, Clara, and the Ramirezes took the findings to the town council, only to be met with resistance from powerful figures with ties to the company. Walter Griggs, who had once been Jasper's fiercest critic, began to question his stance after his own wife admitted how much they had benefited from Jasper's vegetables in the past. Reluctantly, Walter joined forces with Jasper to expose the industrial company's negligence. As the town's secrets unraveled, it became clear that some council members had accepted bribes to keep the contamination quiet. Clara dug through public records while Jasper and Walter rallied the community to demand accountability. The once divided town began to unite as people realized that Jasper's generosity had been unfairly vilified. A dramatic town hall meeting served as the turning point. Jasper, standing tall despite the weeks of adversity, presented the evidence. Walter, in a surprising show of remorse, vouched for Jasper's integrity. Clara's research revealed the damning truth about the council's corruption. The industrial company was fined heavily, and the guilty council members were forced to resign. The town publicly apologized to Jasper, and his reputation was restored. But the story didn't end there. Jasper, ever the optimist, suggested using the settlement funds to build a community garden, ensuring no child in Clearwater would go hungry again. As the garden flourished, so did the town's spirit. Jasper's kindness had not only fed their bodies but also healed their hearts. Months after the community garden began to thrive, Clearwater saw a transformation. Children who once depended on Jasper's kindness now took pride in helping plant and harvest vegetables from the communal plots. Families bonded over shared labor, and the town found a renewed sense of unity. Jasper became a silent guardian of the garden, always ready to lend a helping hand, but never seeking the spotlight. However, the story of Jasper's ordeal hadn't been forgotten. A national news outlet picked up the tale, framing it as a testament to resilience, injustice, and community power. Journalists came to interview Jasper, but he remained humble, redirecting attention to the garden and the people who had stood by him. Jasper's farm became even busier after the community garden initiative. Volunteers from Clearwater, inspired by his generosity, began helping regularly. Families brought their children to learn about farming, and elderly neighbors found renewed purpose working the soil. Though Jasper was hesitant at first to accept so much help, he eventually embraced the communal spirit, realizing it was what Lila would have wanted. Despite his open heart and welcoming nature, Jasper kept his deeper feelings close. He never remarried, though he had opportunities. Some of the older women in the community, impressed by his character and kindness, had hinted at their interest. But Jasper felt his heart was still with Lila, and he saw no need to change his solitary but fulfilling life. His greatest joy came from watching the garden flourish, knowing that his work was helping to feed and uplift the community. Jasper's life was a tapestry of loss, resilience, and purpose. Though he had endured heartbreak and challenges, he found solace in his connection to the land and the people who surrounded him. His farm was more than just a plot of land, it was a testament to his enduring spirit and the legacy of love and generosity he shared with Lila. Meanwhile, the fallout from the scandal continued. Lawsuits against the industrial company piled up as nearby towns uncovered their own water contamination issues. The company's CEO, a powerful figure named Martin Crane, faced mounting pressure. Crane, who had been untouchable for years, was suddenly thrust into public scrutiny. Clara, ever the advocate for justice, discovered something startling while digging through old records. Martin Crane's company had ties to Walter Grigg's former factory. The pollution wasn't a recent issue, it had been ongoing for decades, affecting entire generations of Clearwater residents. Armed with this new information, Clara urged Jasper to take the fight to the next level. Jasper was reluctant. He had already endured so much, and his only goal had been to clear his name and restore peace to his community. But Clara's determination was contagious, and the Ramirezes, along with Walter, encouraged him to see it through. Together, they partnered with environmental lawyers to build a case against Martin Crane and his corporation. The courtroom battle was intense. The prosecution painted a harrowing picture of negligence and greed, while Crane's high-powered defense team argued that the company had no direct link to the contamination. Jasper, though not comfortable in the legal spotlight, testified with quiet strength. He spoke of his father's teachings, the joy of giving, and the pain of being falsely accused. His words resonated deeply, moving the jury and spectators alike. The most shocking twist came during the trial's final days. Clara unearthed hidden documents proving that Crane's company had falsified environmental reports for years. The damning evidence included internal emails from Crane himself, ordering cover-ups and silencing whistleblowers. The courtroom gasped as the truth unfolded, leaving Crane's defense team scrambling. The verdict was swift and decisive. The company was ordered to pay massive damages, and Martin Crane faced criminal charges. Clearwater's victory became a national symbol of grassroots activism triumphing over corporate greed. Jasper, now a local hero, was celebrated far and wide. Yet, he remained the same humble farmer who loved his land and his people. He refused to accept monetary awards or personal accolades, insisting that any funds be directed to improving Clearwater's infrastructure and ensuring clean water for all. In the years that followed, Jasper's community garden became a model for other towns across the country. Visitors came to Clearwater not only to see the garden but also to learn from Jasper's unwavering spirit. Clara, whose relentless pursuit of justice had changed the town's trajectory, became a celebrated advocate for environmental and social reform. And Jasper? He continued to walk his fields every morning, his heart full of gratitude for the land he loved and the people he had helped bring together. Though his journey had been fraught with trials, it had proven one unshakable truth: kindness, resilience, and courage could triumph over even the darkest forces. The ordeal highlighted the dangers of jumping to conclusions without evidence and the importance of thorough, unbiased investigations. For Jasper, the experience was both harrowing and humbling, as he saw how easily fear could overshadow facts. The story of the black farmer who offered free vegetables became a legend, reminding everyone that even in the gloomiest times, generosity and resilience could prevail. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Home of Stories TV. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more inspiring videos. Drop your comments below, let us know your thoughts.